All right. Welcome to the show, Emma Donovan. Thanks for joining us today.
Brother, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, no worries. How are you today? It's Are You Okay Day today, and it probably won't be when we air this later. But how are you? How are you? I tried to give it a scale, but I don't know any other scales other than 1 to 10. So, at a 1 to 10, how are you?
Yeah, nah, I reckon I'm doing all right.
Mm.
Yeah, and then saying that, like, it's like a roller coaster. So
Mm.
yeah. I mean, today I'm pretty good. You know,
Mm.
I think I've had my days,
Yeah. You
but
got. Mm.
trying to stay. Keep in there. Me, Troy. Like I got my two little girls were just yarning about, and yeah, they're the ones that I got to get up for, and keep busy and look after. So that's my main priority, and I have to be good.
Yeah. Part of parenting. Have they got any idea about COVID or anything that's going on? They got.
the
Do they feel the
the
pressure
big
at that
one,
age?
they do, I reckon.
Mm.
Yeah, like so I was a bit silly. Like I took them from Western Sydney just before winter, and we moved.
Yeah.
So before we got into the thicker Melbourne winter, these kids were at the up the river, down
Mm.
down the beach, over at Uncle's house with the pool. They were living in their little swimmers. And when I got down here and I realised what I'd done to them, I was like, "Geez, good mother." Bought had to go out and buy all these warm jackets. And same time, them kids now they were still running around the house in swimmers. That's their little lockdown thing. They know. They're like, Mum, when are we going to go to the river, or when are we going to go to the water? Yeah, I can
Yeah.
feel it.
Is that what kind of childhood you had?
Yeah,
Where'd you grow
like,
up?
well, I grew up in Sydney. I grew
Mm.
up around Western Sydney,
Mm.
but I was yarning about this, like, like the home, our homeland and connection back to mother's country has always been Nambucca Head. So
Yeah.
we didn't live there. Mum grew up there, but we didn't grow up there.
Mm.
Um, but not to say that I still have that strong connection to that place. And I think, getting
Mm.
older now, and especially with COVID, I've had to question my location again and think, geez, where do I want to live now? Where's the place to be after COVID, after turning 40, after becoming a
Mm.
mum to two kids? I want to, yeah. I don't know if I'll be here long. I'll
I know that
want to go
feeling.
back to Nambucca.
It's funny you touched on a really interesting, confusing point where people ask, you get asked where's home,
Mm,
and usually someone that's lived somewhere else for a long enough time that's not their home, especially a First Nations person or something like that. But if you lived in one area, you think that's home. But then I think everyone's changed it up a bit more in COVID. Like they've gone kind of back to, they've finally
oh
realised
yeah.
where their home is because they've had
Mm,
to think about support, um,
mm,
who you got around, what feels connected to good community and stuff. But you grew up
mm.
in around singers as well. And congratulations to I just read like you got some things to celebrate, and we've got to shine these moments. Congratulations on getting signed
Thank you.
with
Yeah.
Cook and Vinyl. It's really good. And it's nice to know that people are living some good things and things are popping up
Mm,
and so
mm.
congratulations, which we'll get to a bit later. You started your singing career at 7, the internet tells me. I'm sure there was some songs coming out well before 7, but I had no idea you come from a family band.
Yeah.
A family band, the
I
Donovans.
so I reckon like six would have been. I've got footage of me singing at six, and singing at a one of my uncle's weddings. And I think it was all like after that, Mum was like, "Okay, this is my little black Temmie. We're gonna we're gonna do something here." And she used to take me to Tamworth every year after that.
Ah,
But I was six, and I was singing "Stand by Your Man" at a wedding.
gold. What was the footage like looking back? Were you good?
I'll send it to you. No, it's cool. I love looking at it now because both my mum and my pop have passed, but they're both, mum's real proud, like holding me, listening to the wedding reception.
As gold. Who
and
started the Donovans?
and Pop's got his guitar. Nan and Pop. So Nan and Pop were two. Yeah, it's amazing story. My family story, because Nan had this big voice. We say throat, big throat.
Yeah.
Even the way she yarned, talking. The joke was when you come out the end of their street in Wall Street, there was football oval across the road. When all my uncles would be playing footy, you could hear Nan from Wall Street. Like she just had this big voice. I think the older I get, I feel like her, like I'm loud, and my kids are loud. We're all loud.
Yeah.
So we got Nan's side. She's a Dungutty woman, and she was brought up around Burnt Bridge Mission, on the other side, in Kempsey. So
wow.
And she met my grandfather, who was from Barraville Mission. In the Nambucca Valley, at the back of Maxwell there. Next town over, Goombanga man, and he had this soft, really beautiful, soft-spoken voice. There's a couple of uncles that are like him. All the women are like Nan. All the men are like
oh, wow,
Pop.
wow.
This little soft, little voice, pretty voice,
wow.
So it's funny, like when I think of my music, where it started, and I love celebrating it. I love talking up that I'm the oldest grandkid. I got spoon-fed all these beautiful stuff, really lucky, very lucky, and there's a big legacy, like my grandparents, they sung a lot for the mob, like them times when they were together. There was no funding and health, for funding for health or funerals, and that was kind of their thing, like to help community get out and do all these beautiful doll up and do all the old barn dances, and they'll play all night.
Oh, it's magic.
So it's a big story. I could yarn this whole interview now for Nan and Pop.
For the Donovans, it's you. Yeah, you are gifted having a legacy and something to kind of that how far you go back, and kind of explains a little bit about yourself. When you question yourself, you're like, and I'm from a long line of storytellers, So who made up the Donovans? Was it like the Black Arm Band that it was rotating around, and there's like you don't know who's rocking up anymore, or was there the core group?
That's the biggest argument now with the family, because 1 minute one cousin or nephew want to go sing with them uncles and play, and then another one will come along. It's kind of like that now. But yeah, like growing up, so Mum had 5 brothers, and she was the only sister. She was the one sister, and at times it was like 5 footballers and 1 barracker. But then it ended up being like my mum was the only sister. I don't think my mum had a beautiful voice. She could sing, but the uncles were the ones that had it down packed, and they played instruments like Pop. They all play, bass, guitar, and everything. So that was, and then there was really 5 brothers, but like 3 of them now, roughly, kind of still singing. But any family. I'm missing them. I'm missing them in lockdown.
Yeah.
Before I moved down here, it was Christmas and all that jazz, and that's the time we get together. There was a family uncle that passed away a couple of weeks ago, and usually we're like Nan and Pop will go home and sing for Mob, because when Mob passed away, my grandfather wrote lots of old gospel songs, lots of songs about country, gospel, and afterlife, and like it's just something that we do, like as for family. And I've posted something on my Facebook page the other day. I just wanted to sing for my uncle. Horrible time to lose someone in COVID when Mob can't be there. So pretty amazing. Songbook too of stuff like songs, and I'm country. Here, look, I got my little Loretta Lynn cup.
You said before that you went to Tamworth. So the Donovans, were they country? Were they? Look at that mug. Is country music is their thing?
This is my mum's old mug.
Get out.
I did a big post in mob feeds today.
Get
I'm
out.
hanging out at mob feeds for all the lockdown.
It's good. It's good. How do you
But
how do
yeah,
you describe? You talk about that sound, and I think you've got one of those voices. Call it a burden or a blessing, but you've got a voice that's recognizable as soon as you start singing. I think so, anyway. They're like, that's Emma. Emma's in the house.
thank you.
You got a sound, that you didn't choose. You just got. How would you describe your voice? Because the media talk about it's a big voice. It's Do you get annoyed that people go, it's so strong and big? Like, hang on, I can sing.
Nah,
Like, how do you describe your
nah,
voice to
because
someone without singing? Without singing.
it's funny because like I just yarning about my nan,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud to, yeah, recently lost mum. So you lose your mum and you have kids, and
Mm,
you think back of all the women in your life and what the morals and things um, you got passed down from them.
mm.
And I'm proud because I talk about my nana's voice. It was a big voice. I think the thing that shines more now is my kids. They're so loud. Someone
Wow.
said to me, someone said to me the other day, oh, I think they were helping me a while back now. They helped me with the kids. They were like, nah, sis, they were good kids, but they're very loud. They always get the little comment. But I know that's something that, yeah, like I'm honoured. Like
Mm.
even someone complimented me the other day and said I sound like Nan.
That's the
So like
best.
when I think of my voice, it's funny. I hate hearing myself talk, but when I hear myself sing, I think of Nan. I think of mum and her brothers,
Mm.
and I don't know. I've gone off the question a little bit, but
Well, no,
I, I would describe myself.
it's that sound. It's that sound that
Mm,
you respect it, which is really cool. I mean, there's some other artists you talk about Dan Sultan and even Kutch. Like they got a sound. They got a sound that's not.
mm,
It's really hard to repeat. Like you can't replicate it, and
mm.
even if much you tried, it resonates so much through your songs too. Um, and I think it gets a message across just a bit more deeper than just a general singer. I don't know what it is. I'm sure
Troy.
I know
No, thank you.
you get the comments back. I'm sure I'm one of hundreds of thousands that always go up to you and go, man, you blew. I felt like you were singing to me, which is just artistry and storytelling. You founded Stiff Gins as well with Nardi Simpson and Kalina Brigg in '99 while studying music. That's cool. Someone actually asked in one of the questions today on air to, ask her if she's actually trained or anything like that. What were you studying at music?
uh, I always laugh about this time at Eora because I was so silly. I just left school, never had a serious bone in my body. Always just clowning around, not taking anything serious.
Mm,
But it was when I met Nadi and Kalina. It was just magic. Like it was a beautiful friendship.
mm.
And it's a shame I didn't like the girls have had this amazing career, Stiff Gins, like for years now. I was only in the band for a few years. I did start
Ah,
off with the mob, but it was that first time that I stood behind or with other women, um,
mm.
and I had a go at writing songs because from that point, before I met them, I was singing all the country tunes, singing all the stuff from home.
So none of your own
Um,
stuff. That was the first time you started writing and singing your own stuff.
Yeah, and we used our time in school, in the TAFE course at Eora. It was a Cert 3 in contemporary music. I'm a bit of a clown. I don't even think I finished it in the end. I was getting too I was getting too my head was getting too big making gigs, getting money making gigs with Stiff Gins. I think Kalina was the only one that finished it.
Wow, that's hilarious.
I just we wrote songs for assessments and stuff,
Oh, right.
performance assessments and stuff like that, and we were like, oh shit, we've got something,
Mm.
something nice
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And then then there was, these really cool gigs in the community called Solid Ground that some of the students were putting on, and we started getting gigs then, and started doing stuff around the community. So I got more excited, and I got sidetracked.
Yeah. It's like Homer Simpson. He's seen the dog with a fluffy tail. He just follows anything that's he's pumped about, which is really cool. I resonate with that a lot. Who come up with the name Stiff
Cool,
Gins?
We had a friend. So originally there was 4 of us.
Uh-huh.
There was another sister girl. Can't remember her name. Alison, her surname. But she told us something about like this person couldn't do anything without 3 stiff gins in the morning. I don't know. It started from there. It's a long time ago. I'm talking like I was 16 or something.
Yeah, 99 apparently was the year.
But the whole thing on the derogatory term for Aboriginal women. We were pretty solid, strong women. We were trying to, do something about, the word gin.
I never heard it. I've never heard it.
Yeah, so my grandmother, she would have been called an old gin, an old gin, a bad name for Black woman.
Wow.
And so there was some women in the Redfern community that were a bit upset. Like they were like, come on, because we're young, what are you doing about this? Like, we need to yarn, and I respected that, because I remember even my mum shaking her head going, what's this band? Like, what? Not country? What? Stiff Gins? So there was a lot to, that name now carried us, and we were just trying to turn something into a positive.
Yeah. What was it like leaving that group?
I was a big head. I wanted to leave.
So you're like,
I wanted to.
I'm the Michael Jordan of this team. You guys are just, passing me the ball. You just passing me the ball. Get the rebound.
You're gonna go there. No, I don't think anybody's asked me this.
What are you doing? You think you're gonna?
What happened? Why are you leaving?
Nah, you're the LeBron. You're the LeBron. You're like, I'm out of this team. I'm gonna create my own super team over here. Nah, what was it like? It would have been really hard. I mean,
I was just hanging out to play with more other musos, and we was a pretty tight group, and always used to just write, between ourselves. And there were some other musos I was hanging out with, and I started writing that song Changes Now with Yanya Boston, and just experimenting, or trying other things. And I don't know, when I look back now, I think I could have done all them other things and still been in a band, but stuff happens.
Yeah.
And you grow, and there's other things you look, other styles, and I think the lineup, just acoustic with vocals. I wanted more band sound stuff, and wanted to try different things.
Taking it back to the homeland.
Different styles.
How did you meet the Putbacks?
So talking about a trip that we did in Kalkaringi, probably 2007 or 8. Started with the Black Arm Band at 2006, but we did this like Nitmuluk tour from up north. And I remember the day the drummer now, Rory McDougall, he said to me, started getting really close. Like, I remember playing some of my songs in Black Arm Band, and they loved, this bass player and this drummer. They were tight. They were in a band, they were in the Putbacks, separate band. And they said to me, sis, next time you come to Melbourne, like, you got to come and have a sing with our band, play. And I was always curious about that. And the invite, I'm a sucker. I was just like, okay, I'm going to come and see you, Mob. I came to Melbourne a few times for Black Arm gigs, and then every time I had gigs in Melbourne, I'd run off and go watch them Mob play.
Ah, right.
Somewhere late, and we were just building it from there, and the invite was always open, but I was a little bit frightened because it was a different style of sound or music. But that was a while back now.
Did they invite you to be a writer when they invited you to come and was that the deal? Because you were probably getting all right at writing. You've been writing for a little while. You started touring, hanging out
Yeah.
with writers, and the Black Armband, a great would have been a great experience to build your depth of writing and experiences. Was that part of the
There
deal
was
coming with the Putbacks?
I think we did a gig with the Putbacks once, and I asked them to do some of the old songs that I wrote after I left Stiff Gins. And I can't remember. It was a gig at the recitals. No, a gig at the Arts Centre.
Okay.
And they were playing. It was a really cool night, and they said they played some of my tunes, and then they said, oh, next time let's send you some of our stuff. And the bass player Mickey Ma, he made some cool playlists for me, like still on CD playlist. Burning me a copy there of CD and just showing me all their flavors, like stuff they listen to, the stuff that they loved. And I think we did a gig after that of some of that style of songs, so some more covers again, but the styles that they liked. And then they gave me an instrumental one time. Then they gave me the instrumental, or they gave me the the parts for all their ideas and grooves for Dawn. And then that was the first ever time I went, holy shit, I'm gonna write a vocal to this.
Wow.
Yeah. And I recorded it. It was really exciting. I was so excited. It's funny, like when you go from writing in different groups, there's always things I was always scared of or weary of. And it was more to protect myself and be confident in myself, Like even at that time when I wrote with Stiff Gins, my other friend used to say, go and write with other, go write with people. Like, don't just stick to a little circle. And I'd be so shy. I remember one time it was Yenya. He was good friends with Nairi, Joseph Nairi. And he'd say, go on, I'd be so frightened because it's something so personal, and I think it's just building that more and more confidence to go, oh, am I actually, these fellas like what I'm writing, or do they dig it, or are they really into it and not just saying it to be nice?
Yeah. I think they're professional level. Yeah, you got to be honest. Got to be honest with people.
I love it. I love that I can write now and feel really open, feel really relaxed about I've got so much freedom writing with the Putbacks. It is a collaboration. It is something that end of the day when we record and get stuff out, there's a whole mob of us there. But I don't feel like my contribution as a vocalist is any less of what they are as musicians. It's funny I say it because there was a time when I did feel like that. Like I don't know how to write with big flash chords. I've got a couple stored.
Yeah.
I do come from a country music background, so I've probably got my initials, in chords. I say it all the time, but doesn't mean I have to underestimate what I am or who I am as a vocalist, and lyrically too, what I want to say. Yeah, and I'm lucky to be in these circles or be amongst these musicians that support me in that.
What was your time like, Black
That's
Armband?
hard to.
Yeah, sorry, say that again.
No, I was saying that's hard to find, or it's hard to be in them, places we call safe places.
Black Armband, pretty well known theatre group. Apparently, it's a theatre group, or it's a performance.
Oh, is it?
A troupe performance place. I don't know. It's sadly not around anymore. What was your experience though? Traveling around, speaking the messages, playing a black fellas all over the mobs all around Australia, and living that black star role. You who was some of your first few tours with, and
oh look, that I remember the first time I got approached. So Black Armband came out of an arts house project from Melbourne. It was only meant to be almost like a one-off thing, that they were pulling together really too. like went a long way. But yeah, like the first time I got asked, I was like, "What is this? What is this band, or who are these mob?" And then surely enough, you rock up at a rehearsal or you get told that Bart Willoughby and George Rudenbull, names like that are going to be a part of it. Instantly, just they were my childhood. My father was biggest fan for No Fixed Address.
Wow.
Massive fan for introduced me to bands like Coloured Stone. And I just remember just texting and getting on the phone to him at the rehearsal. I'm like, Dad, Bart Willoughby is here. The Bart Willoughby is here.
The Bart.
So it was like,
the Bart. So
Bart Willoughby. Yeah. Like, these are our biggest role models.
wow.
Yeah, no, I just felt I use this word all the time, that I was cradled because I say it because they were just lovely mob, like, some of these older artists, or at the time younger people like myself at the time. So much this legacy of black music, this history of this songbook, all these legends. Wow. Yeah, I never took it a day for granted. The biggest thing for me was just learning that big because the productions were big, like with visuals, with
sure
sound, and that was again another big eye opener for me. Every time we'd run shows and run sets, seeing people like Uncle Archie just give 110,000%.
Yeah.
At a sound check and do it again on a performance. That was the biggest thing for me. I just thought, they're
not slacking. They're not slacking.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
This is their life. This is the songs that have made them who they are. They survived. These aren't songs you need to rehearse. These are, it was that other element, and that collaboration then with, all of the other things that came with the production, of course. But just seeing them in their own, and these songs that I was, learning, and songs that I didn't even know. Like I knew, but I didn't know the history behind them. I think the beautiful other thing that I always loved yarning about with Black Arm Band was you'd be singing a song like From Little Things, Big Things Grow, but you'd have the opportunity to actually go that country now, like Waddy Creek, and go with, Kalkaringi mob and be there, like on that country where some of them, significant stories and that have took place. Like we had made sure that a lot of the touring was close to getting back to where them songs come from.
Wow.
So that was pretty big experience.
That'd be unbelievable. I'm getting little goosebumps, like real ones, just going, whoa, that's being there. That moment would just be something else. Something else.
My passion and love for our mob, and like that inspiration that I have will always come from our mob that have, come before us. I'm in my little music space here at my house.
Yeah.
And I got a big picture. You can't see it, but Auntie Ruby's up there. And she was like the mother,
Yeah.
looking after us all. Yeah. I was very, very lucky to be amongst her on tours.
Amen. What happened? What happened?
Never
What happened when the Black Arm Band came to your hometown? Did it ever get to your hometown? Back to your mob?
Oh.
And you were the star. You would have been. I just imagine.
We got as.
Did you get?
No. We got as close as Taree.
Okay.
But we did go Noongar country. Like we went over to Dad's mob. Yeah. My family would just. Yeah.
We're doing a party.
Like, to this day, like they're still asking when they're coming back. Them mob, like Dad.
They're gone. They're gone, Dad. They're gone.
They're around. They're just not in the Black Armband. They're all there. Nah, it was good time.
What a life,
I
yeah.
love seeing the community. I love the community gigs. Like, you'd have a festival gig, but there was always something special about playing to our mob.
This next chapter that's upon you, you've just been signed and you've got multi albums to push out. I was going to say multi babies to push out, but I'm sure you're done with that for a little bit. But music babies, you got music babies to push out.
I can make babies. I can make babies and make albums. I'm a 40-year-old woman in the industry. It's kind of like, there's a few things getting chucked around these days about, women in the industry and what we can do and what we, things that people expect us, come to that time, I guess, of, expiry date even. There's all sorts of things, and I get all sorts of comments, but I'm proud. I'm proud that I can, that I've had my girls now, and then they can come with me on this journey. It is a special time, I think, for Aboriginal women in the industry. Like I talk about Annie Rube, and when I met the Stiff Gins, they introduced me to Titters,
Yeah.
And then I remember just like eating Styling Up album, Christine Anu's album for breakfast every, day of my high school life. There wasn't many black women, but this day, geez, there's a massive representation. I'm so happy to be amongst it. Yeah.
What's
good time.
Under the Streets? It's hasn't been launched yet. I think it's still in a few more days, the 17th of September or something.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Like less than 10 days.
Marked in your calendar. It's pretty big. It's the first album that's coming out under this new label. I had a really good listen to the second single, Love Without Limits. Is this a personal song?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a reflection too on lockdown. Let's try to get through this, this storm, and when things and people are unkind, like I guess it was like like people treating you bad way. Like I don't have to, I'm at that time in my life where I got nothing bad to give. If someone want to give me something, deal me something bad, I'm right. I'm sweet. I'm not gonna be that way in return. Like I'm at peace with a lot of things. I can hold my head up and just keep at stuff. Getting old girl now.
It's tiring. It's tiring when you get involved. It can be tiring.
Yeah.
Just getting involved, and it's
pretty personal song, but lucky time, like to even like come out of the start of the first pandemic with City of Melbourne. Their mob now funded 40 artists in Melbourne, so I'm just looking forward to hearing all the other music that's going to come out of this time. We press record quick enough, like we were still mixing and mastering these tracks in lockdown.
Yeah.
But it's not far now. It's all done.
You had some. I've lost my notes here, but you had some song about.
Sorry, it's me.
No, you had some song about actually like just shutting the door and like as a band or something. Did it make up a song name? It was like something
Out the door.
Out the door, is it? And you're like, tell us about that song. It's like it kind of laughs about how quickly things just wrapped up or something. You're like, you're out the door and you shut the door in the studio and had to go somewhere or something like that. Did I read that right?
Yeah, because like I was yarning to you before about like my return to Melbourne. Like coming back here. Like I lived in Melbourne for years, but I come back in the last, after 4 years I've been away in Sydney with other personal things to do, but I managed to still keep that relationship with the Putbacks, and we did crossover. I kept coming back and forth and doing that album. That probably took a bit longer. because I was just in Sydney. Had nothing to do with the pandemic. More like playing the album live now. But we haven't played that album live enough now. But and this one's coming out, you know. So but yeah, we I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, like some of the lyrics or some of the inspiration about, you know, them songs was like my return to coming back and being creative again, being around the Putbacks again. But also them feelings we get, you know, for that creative, like, you know, if we're going to be creative and yarn up about, you know, things that there wasn't a lot of pressure, not pressure. There was like, you know, we had like a time limit to do the album, but there wasn't, we weren't kind of, what's the word? Weren't too precious about stuff. We just let it happen, you know, we'll let having fun and not holding on to, you know, not things. Well, I wasn't anyway.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that in a bad way for Putbacks, because they're amazing. They're amazing, most generous learning mob in the studio. I've learned so much about recording music with them.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. One of the lines I picked up on it was like, you go about your own thing with no regrets. I loved it. Like, you know, to put that in a song, you know, you could put any lyrics in a song, but it's just sometimes just a nice little reminder that you just concentrate on yourself and keep pushing forward. I've got a question that one of the listeners asked. She's struggling to not being able to see her family, albeit up the road, but it's locked down. She's in Sept and she misses the salt water. How tough is it for her? How tough is it for you being away from family? And how do you, I'm sorry, it says how does Emma, so I've got to convert it because you're there. How do you and your babies cope, and when allowed, what's the first thing you're going to do when you're able to go home and back on country?
It's amazing, this question. I feel like, you know, so lucky to do some of these interviews in this time, and, you know, mob still yarning up your music and your sound and stuff. But, you know, as mob, like, this is the question that keeps getting thrown around, and that's like, you know, what are you going to do? And we know that answer, you know, we're going to go home, we're going to see mob. It's been really hard for the girls. Like, they literally walk around this house all of this winter in their swimmers and, you know, their little thongs, and they keep talking about the water. I was yarning about this before. Yeah. So I'll have all my towels out, you know, in the lounge room. Mummy, we want to go, you know, river. We want to go beach. They know, you know, they can feel it. But yeah, like, just before the lockdown or that happened in Sydney, the pandemic, I took a trip up to Nambucca, and I can't wait for that water again. You know, I seriously cannot wait. To go home and feel that water, and, you know, see family, and go out to the island and sit around with mob. Yeah, it's a funny time. Like, I took off to come down, kind of hit the ground running with all our gigs and the recording and stuff, like when I came to Melbourne. But now all I feel like I want to do is just leave. Like, it's weird. Yeah. I just want to go home.
I can hear you. I can hear it in your story, and just not being able to, you know. And this is not what Melbourne's about. You didn't come here to do this. To do this. This wasn't the deal. It's almost like the reason that you came down is not available right now, which would be really, really hard. Be really, really hard. 4 albums or multi-albums is the deal. Have you got 4 albums worth or multi-albums worth of songs? Have you started compartmentalizing and going, look, this is the first album's locked in. I got my next 8 or 10 on. I think we should bring it on the second album. Or is it just kind of another casual chat going on with your Putback crew? And how far advanced are you in the planning?
I got to admit, like, I write all the time. Like, like in this COVID, like in this, you know, week, having hard nights. It's hard getting your, you know, your juices, getting creative and that. but I push myself because that's my outlet. That's the way that I know how to, yeah, look after myself, I guess, or say the things I really need to say. I talk to family all the time, always yarning to mums, all my aunties, always yarn to my aunties and sisters, cousin sisters. But I always write, and I think I naturally always do that. I've done it more because of the times I've had with the putbacks. They've always got jams and stuff, ideas. So I always got to feel like I've got to be ready for them all. But the thing I'm excited about is this is the first time a label is like they're confident in a solo album. I freaked out. I was like, that scares me, but at the same time, without getting all sooky on you, Troy, like it's a big eye opener for me, for myself. I can look now and hone in on some of the things that I've learned in all the musical outfits that I've been a part of. I'm taking it serious. See this little microphone here? It makes me look a little bit flash, but I thought I'd get a bit serious, because I don't, like up until now, and here and I've got to write a solo album. Yeah, I'm gonna hone in on some, really, really get cracking. I've got a year to bring that to life. And it'll be the first time, I guess, without the putbacks even. I might be some members of the putbacks. Still trying to work out, how I want to produce it, but just starting on ideas for now to write it. But it's a big honor. It's an honor for myself and for my kids and my family. I want to just continue it. Doing the best that I can.
I wish I could see your family right here. I feel like I want them in a back screen just cheering you on, because you'd make your family so proud, and it sounds like you got a massive family too, and I can just music's so beautiful. So that'd be all in your corner, because you all come from the same kind of music background. They'll just be championing you on. Emma,
I reckon Mum's gonna get a Black Timmy Wynette after all, his solo album, because I can have a play with more of them tunes, and
sure.
Like I said before, I get nervous about myself as a solo artist. I can't hold my own and stand up and play guitar on my own. I've just started learning, this littlest guitar of them all, the ukulele. But I'm gonna have a go at it, and I'm gonna, touch on some of them things that, looking forward to this new deal with, Cook and Vinyl. Yeah, I can't wait to just start making my own demos.
It's exciting. Hey Emma, thanks heaps for joining us amongst the chaotic world of lockdown and kids and being a mum and being an artist and just being crazy good. We'll have to speak to you soon, but we look forward to your albums coming out, and we'll catch up with you very soon, shortly.
Hey, Troy, I see all the stuff you do online, and I love it, and it gives us, people saying that we might not have gigs, we might not have that live stuff, but people are still opening up their heart, and they're still finding ways to connect and bring us closer, even if it's from our home or little spaces like where we are now. But the other thing for me as a muso, not having gigs and talking up this, this is, it's made me feel really good. So big
that's the best.
Proper love to you, and thanks for taking that time to do what you do, and sharing all of the artists, community mob story.
Big love to you, Emma. Thanks once again. I can't wait to catch up with you in the flesh soon, but until then, we'll just listen to your music. Thanks heaps.
Hey, thank you.